Okay, let's take a look at this example here. This is a diagram here. It says so. That's why I earlier said the more easier way for you to understand is what? Be able to what? Know where your right angle triangle is, your right angle is, and then what? You'll be able to what? Identify where your hypotenuse is. Okay, now if we are solving this now, first of all, now let's roughly bring out this diagram. This diagram looks something like this, and then what? This is what our right angle. We are having 13 centimeter here, and we are having 12 centimeter here, and then we are having y. Okay, first of all, now before we even start solving this question, there's something I want to explain here. If we take a look at this now, we can't be able to start finding what x on the basis of we don't know what the value of y is. So if we are to find this now, we only have 4, which it makes it what? Impossible for us to solve. But then if we are to find y now, you know that what? This side is being given, this side is being given. It makes it what? Easier for us to what? Find y. But in the case of x now, we have to know what y is before we'll be able to what? Find x. So now, from here now, this is where our right angle is. So from here now, we can easily say what? We can easily, this side, if you look at this side, is now opposite our right angle. So this is what? Our hypotenuse. So this is, okay, for example, now let's go with what? Let's go with x, y, and then z. Okay, it's in capital letter, which is angle. Make this so that it will tally with this. So from here now, this is all our hypotenuse. You know from what? From the theorem, it says that what? In a right angle triangle, the square of the hypotenuse side is equal to the sum of the squares of the two other sides. So from this case now, what is our hypotenuse? Our hypotenuse is 13. So we can now say what? Okay, 13 centimeter square is equal to. So the two other sides now, with the two other sides now, we now have what? We have what? Open bracket 12 centimeter, we now have square plus y square, because we are trying to what? Find the value of y. So from here now, if we take a look at this critically now, this is our hypotenuse, this is the two other sides. But what we want to find is what? Here. So what? We need to find the squares from here now. Okay, if you take the square root of this one, based on the way we did in the first video, you should be having what? 169 centimeter square is equal to the square root of what? 12 centimeter. Now we are having what? 144 centimeter square plus y square. Okay, so from here now, if we find the square of this, the square of 13 is 169 centimeter square. Then we now have equal to, we express it the way we express it in the first example. So this expressing this one now, we're having what? 144 centimeter square plus y square. This is what we are looking for. So in this case now, what we are going to do is we'll now collect like terms. And then what? For it to be more easier, we can what? Take this to go to the other side to go and meet this. Because taking this to the other side and then taking this to the other side, it will give this a negative sign, because what? Any number or any alphabet and unknown crossing an equality sign, the sign changes. So for easy understanding, we'll just carry this to the other side, which we are going to have 169 centimeters square. It is positive here, so it now crosses to the other side. It now becomes what? Negative, which is what? Minus 144 centimeter square is equal to y square. So now, okay, take a look at this. From here now, what we are going to do is what? To subtract. And then subtracting this now, okay, this plus this, you can decide to what? Do it as in we can do it manually by what? If we are having 169 and we are having 144, now this minus this, we are left with what? 5. This minus this, we are left with what? 2. This minus this is 0, which of this is not necessarily important. We are left with what? 25. So we can say what? Okay, 25 centimeters square is equal to what? Y square. So now from here now, we'll be asked to find the value of y, not y square. So we'll now take the square root of both sides. Take the square, this goes with this, we are left with y, which is equal to, this is a perfect square, so we'll be having what? Be having 5 centimeter, which is, you can say, therefore y is equal to 5 centimeter. And then now, that's what for the value of y. So from here now, it now makes it easy for us. So we can now say this is equal to what? 5. So now it now makes it easy for us to what? Find the value of x, because what? We have this. But if you take a look at this now, you should be able to what? Easily figure out where your hypotenuse is. This is our right angle. And then we see what the hypotenuse is, the side opposite the right angle. So if you look at it now, this is the side opposite the right angle. So now, if this is the side opposite the right angle, that means we should roughly have something like this. And then we're having what? 5 here. We're having 4 here. And then we're having x here. So from what we're having here, we can easily what? X, y, z. So that means this is what? This is small z, this is small y. So then from our what? Pythagoras rule now, they say what? The square of the hypotenuse. Which side is our hypotenuse now? This is it, which is small z. So can we now say, okay, small z square is equal to the two other sides, which we can easily say what? Okay, small y square plus what? X square. So from here now, we know the value of what? Z as a small z, side z. So we can now say open bracket what? Okay, 5 centimeter square, which is equal to, we know our value of y, which is 4. So we can now say, okay, 4 centimeter square plus, we don't know the value of x, because that's what we are finding. So from here now, take the square of this, we should be having 25 centimeters square. In this case now, you know that the square here is what? Only on the centimeter, not on the 25, because what? The square has already taken effect on the 25. So now, which is equal to the square of this, we are now having 16 centimeters square, which is plus what? X square. We will now collect like terms. So collecting like terms, this goes to the other side. So we'll be having 25 centimeters square minus, you know, this is positive here. As it crosses the equality sign, it becomes what? Negative. Minus 16 centimeters square, which is equal to x square. So now, subtracting this one now, we are now left with what? We are now left with 9 centimeters square, which is equal to x square. We were asked to find what? X, not x square. So from here, we'll now take the square root of both sides, and then this goes with this. So we are having what? X, and then what? This is a perfect square, which is what? If you take the square root of this, it should give you 3, and then the square on this centimeter cancels out, which will be having 3 centimeter, which you now say, therefore, x is equal to what? 3 centimeter. Then what? You now say, hence, the values of x and y is, you can just say what? Okay, we are having x is equal to 3 centimeter. Then we now see y is equal to 5 centimeter. Just as simple as that. So now we are going to also look at another example in the subsequent videos. Thank you for listening.